Hello everyone, welcome to the tub. It's time to roll some bones. Who do we have here at the table with us tonight?
Bond. James Bond.
My name is Cork. I'm kind of like the leader in here. This is my very good friend over here. Meet.
Hi, I'm Plenty.
But of course you are.
Plenty O'Toole.
Named after your father, perhaps?
I am Hela, Odin's firstborn, commander of the legions of Asgard, the rightful heir to the throne, and the goddess of death. I'm Batman.
Well, all right. Glad to see everyone. Sounds like we're going to have a great time. But someone remind me, why are we even doing this?
Because yesterday I walked out of the joint after losing 4 years of my life, and you're cold decking Teen Beat cover boys.
Oh yeah, I guess you do have me there. But any other reason?
Because the house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes, the house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Oh yeah, now I like the sound of that. Oh, here comes Ed. He's shooting. Everybody, place your bets.
I'll take the full odds on the 10, 200 on the hard way. The limit on all the numbers, 250 on the 11. Thank you very much.
We're gonna bet it all. On the field. Everything.
$2,000 hard eight.
285,000. 285,000. Okay.
Hey, Dr. Evil, how about playing the hard ways? Hard 6, I'll put you on it. How much you want?
$100 billion.
Sure, that bet exceeds the table limit.
Tommy, is this still Caesar's Palace? Then we're good.
It's a bet.
That's $3 million, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we put a few dollars on 4.
Oh, don't get crazy there now. But all right, no more bets. Dice are out.
Come on, honey bear. Come on, honey bear. There it is.
You guys need money? I am literally making every single person at this table money. Guys, what are you waiting for? Get in on this. I'm hitting every single number over and over again.
Say, you played this game before.
Just once.
All right, everybody, collect your winnings because we've got dust bunnies here on the table and pumpkins in everybody's pockets.
Well, that's $50,000.
Minus 5,000 for you, leaves me 45,000, and thank you very much.
Not bad at all.
Why don't we go someplace and have a drink?
Good shot. Practice like you play like you practice. Let's go roll. Hey everybody, this is Jeff, and welcome from Mid-Atlantic Craps, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Wrong channel, wrong guy. Hang on a minute. Here we are, everybody.
Jeff,
No,
you got uglier.
Jeff's in the other room.
I was going to say, you got uglier.
I know. Bless Jeff's heart. He couldn't get on here with us tonight, so we're winging it. We are winging it tonight.
Don't we always wing it without him?
I gotta somehow be a producer and a host. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm pretty good at running my mouth, so I guess this will work tonight. I mean, I can run my mouth. I can run my damn mouth. Man, we've got over 30 people sitting out there watching us. They're laughing at us on chat.
We're the entertainment.
I'm the entertainer, and you're the entertainer tonight. I'm the entertainer. I'll be the entertainer. You be the expert tonight. How about that? Lord, I'm just going to kind of scroll up here. I mean, we got Degenerate and Cajun Craps and Bud here. Bud is my bootlegger. We got Kevin Smith. We got Craps for Life, our good buddy there, Robert. Appreciate him tuning in. Phil Case from. Oh, I know Phil. Phil's down there from Biloxi. I mean, he plays Biloxi. We met him a long time ago. Yep. And OMC. I'm gonna miss some people. Clay Hall's here. Mr. Yo11's in. Gargoyle's even in the chat and on the screen.
Yeah, so, I know. I'm everywhere, man. Thanks to you.
Yeah, you're everywhere. Lewis.
I saw Anthony there earlier. Waylon is in the chat.
Waylon's down here?
Yeah. So he said, okay, but he's not getting paid for tonight.
And, you know, I don't know how to do that fancy stuff where you can drag a chat over into, but, you know, we've got this guy right here. He can read the chats. I can read the chats on my other screen.
Yeah, I gotta go like this because it's on the laptop, but we'll figure it out. If you ask something and we don't get to it, you know, ask it again because, you know, we're not fancy with the Q colon and Ed colon and all that stuff.
Everybody brought their own brown water. It was a BYOB tonight. That's bringing brown water.
Listen, I got a special brown water tonight, all the way from my buddy Ivan from Hawaii.
You got some.
I'm drinking Hula High coffee, and it's Hawaiian roasted, and it is excellent. And I'm supposed to eat it with some macadamia candy, but I ate all the macadamia.
You already ate the macadamia.
Sorry, dude. But this is good coffee. Now I'm gonna have to hit him up and say, hey, I'll pay you, but send me some. And I was hoping he would send me a chip from Hawaii, folks, but I didn't get it. But I got some of my friends' chips over here. I don't know if you can see them or not, but I got some really cool chips here. But anyway, what are you going to talk about?
Well, you know, while they are gathering, we'll start talking about Biloxi a little bit. You know, we can talk about what we did down in Biloxi.
Yep.
What kind of weekend we had, good, bad, and ugly. How about that?
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, the truth, nothing but the truth. And we actually went and played. We actually went and played. I mean, we were actually there. There were witnesses. So Brian P's wife was a witness, and his daughter actually, and Mr. Yo, he's over there. He was a witness.
Yeah,
saw us there. We were there.
And you know, Jeff is with us in the hat. If not
the hat went to Biloxi.
The hat went to Biloxi, and of course, I didn't take your cup because I don't want to break it. But the cup is here too.
Yeah, the casino tears. Thank you.
Yeah, so
we might talk about that a little bit too. But
so my wife, you know, that the reason why I put it here because she was washing it, and she's like, casino tears. Is that what you carry when you leave the casino broke because they took all your money and you're crying? And I'm like, yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes it could be, or it can be that. You can make the casino cry sometimes.
Yeah.
On rare occasion. Or
yeah,
it could be a play on word. It could be a play on words of TIERS, but I don't know. I think it's kind of funny about the crying.
Yeah. So Biloxi, man, it was interesting. I can tell you that I tried to stay in my discipline as far as some stuff. I couldn't do my morning play except once because people just found out, you know, and I didn't mind, but people got up early and wanted to play with me in the morning. I did play with a group, so which is a lot different than my play. But overall, you know, I stayed my discipline, you know. I didn't play all night. I got up early in the morning, and when I was up, I walked away. Mr. Yo11 can tell you some, you know, Okay, so we're not gonna do Friday, Saturday, Sunday and stuff. We're gonna just because it's all blurry to me. But I gotta dive right into it.
It is
I
kind of
gotta
all
dive
jumbled
right
together.
into it. Yeah. So we were at the table. You guys were there. Mr. Yo 11 was right there with me, and the table was hot. And I went on the line, and we were making money, and he and I were chatting, and this don't player comes in and started playing the don't. I looked up and I said, and I turned to the dealer. I said, "Turn me off." Right in the middle of the roll, hot roll. I said,
"Is that guy with the broke arm?"
No, that was another guy. That was that guy. That guy with the broke arm was on a morning.
I'd have broke his other arm if he hadn't had a broke arm already.
Yeah, in a table in the back, closer to the blackjack tables. So anyway, I went like this. A couple of rolls later, I don't know who was shooting, but 7 out, and I said, bring me off and color me up. And Yo 11 looked and said, "Gee, where you going, man?" I said, "I'm out. We got a don't player here." I said, "This table's just gone to shit." And he's like, "No, man." I'm like, "I'm out." I picked up my chips and left to the cage. And I was walking back, and everybody was walking. I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Yeah, the table went to shit."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, I just, I'm not going to play with don't players because they don't mean to. But if you're betting for a 7 to do whatever, a 7 is going to show." That's just me.
Unless I'm on the don'ts.
And
then
I think you went on it one time, and I yelled to take those effing chips off the don't or something like that. Or was it something? Was that Rock?
Rock.
I don't know.
I knew better.
Yeah.
I knew better. It was just a come out roll. It was just on a come out roll.
Yeah. But no, we had a good time.
We got Demon Dog come in. I'm just looking. Demon Dog God Complex is come in here tonight. Thank you, Demon Dog. Michael. I'm just trying to catch up. I can't say. Jeff is in the peanut gallery tonight, and he should have seen the opening where I thought I was him.
Sorry, folks. My eyes are not as good, so every now and then I see something. I have to walk up to the laptop to look at it. I need to put a big monitor here, but I'm not going to spend any more money. For somebody that's in it to make money, I'm already $2,800 deep in this and haven't made a dime. I'd like to know when I can make money.
Probably never.
Well, that was what a certain person said, that the only reason why I'm on here is so that I can make money. Anyways, no, we had a good trip. We had look, folks. We had PSOs. I can
attest to that shit.
Hey,
I did it too. But I mean,
you did it too. That's right. I was gonna say, they put me on the spot on the private table, like, "You're gonna start it," and I'm like, "Let's get the PSO out of the way." And sure enough, I PSO'd. There were perfect example about mindfulness, and I know people. I looked at the views. We haven't had as many views as some of our other shows about mindfulness. Ed and Oz got a first-hand look of what mindfulness means when I colored up about $9,800 from one shooter that wasn't setting the dice. He wasn't part of our team. While they colored up, but not that much, simply because I paid attention to that person. I paid attention to the table. We'll go into that in details, but there are several examples of mindfulness that I can talk to. I actually have a trick, Bartle's trick. Today evening, right?
Yeah, I came in. I just read for some reason my mic level needed to be brought up, so I'm bringing my mic level up. Maybe that's better.
Okay.
All right. Maybe Jeff can tell me if that's better. I know you hear me fine, but it was for some reason way down, and I don't know why.
Yeah. And I apologize, folks. I can't see the chat. If you're asking a question, we'll get to the questions part.
I came in Thursday, and I'll be honest, I had better discipline than I normally have. The whole trip. Oh, really? Yes, I did. I mean,
oh, really?
I did. I quit early most nights, and
why not?
Well, look, hey, we got there Thursday night.
Hey, do I need to talk about 2, 3, 11, 12, 2, 3, 11, 12?
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute because that was fun.
Okay.
That was fun.
I wasn't there, by the way. I was asleep, but go ahead.
Yeah, 2, 3. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I did have more discipline and cautious play and was able to dig out of a hole once and colored up ahead, and I was, in fact, this is how disciplined I was, G. On Monday morning, I got up after drinking coffee in my room and having a little breakfast up there. I went down towards the table just to see if any of you guys were down there. And it was my favorite table in all of Biloxi. Nobody was on it. There was 3 dealers standing there twiddling their thumbs. And I turned around and walked out and didn't buy in because I wanted to keep my money in my pocket. And that's a very, very, very hard thing for Ed to do. That is a very, very hard thing for Ed to do.
Yep.
Dan said you sound like a gargoyle. I don't know if you got...
I don't know.
It says tells G to fix his mic, and I don't know what that problem would be.
Okay, so maybe I need to get closer to the mic. Maybe that's what it is. So let me get my buddy Jeff's head up here because he's with us now. All right. Hopefully this sounds better. So anyway, Jeff will give me a thumbs up or down now if my mic sounds better or not.
Yeah, hopefully that sounds better.
Yeah.
Bud said me doing that was as bad as a regression, and he's right. I mean, nobody was on there, and I thought about it, and I had money in my pocket, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let somebody else play.
Yeah.
And then when I came back to the table, it was slam packed full of our guys, and about 8 of them standing in the aisle. So I went over and talked to everybody.
Yeah, I did my morning plays. Friday morning, I went down there, and I was there with Oz. I threw 7 6s in a row. The problem is I was setting the point and making it. So, I started hopping. I made good money off of it. And then after that, I threw 8 7s in a row. And Heavy was there itching to just get in. And I'm like, dude, get in. So come out. And he just stood there. And I made some money off of that. But unfortunately, I set the point and then I 7'd out. The morning stuff, I had one morning where I was by myself and I went, 640 across. I won one of them, lost 2 of them. But the one that I won, I broke even on because I had a longer roll. But I had a PSO and a PPSO on 2 of them, which kind of hurts on us when you go 640 across. Saturday morning, I was down there with Oz, and we thought that was the craps table that we're going to play the private on. We were changing dice sets and changing places. The dealers were nice enough to let us do that, so we weren't betting big, and so it was pretty much a losing session for us. Sunday morning, there were a lot of people. I mean, I went there, and people were waiting on the table. I think I played a couple hands and then went and ate donuts. And then Monday morning, I didn't play at all. I played
Tell you
very
what,
little.
there was a bunch of damn donuts ate that weekend on our crew. I can promise you that. Every time I went by the donut shop, there was people in there chomping on them things. But you know,
I had them twice a day.
no, I didn't do that.
I can't help it, dude. I can't help it. I go by there, and it doesn't matter. I could be going to the casino and I hear those, maple frosted donuts. Gee, gargoyle, we're here. So I gotta make a U-turn and go eat them. Two of them.
You know,
I can't help it, man. I can't help it. You know.
You're talking about Friday. You and Oz beat me down there, and y'all left. And then I got on the table by myself, which again was my favorite table. Because we didn't play Thursday night, folks, ladies and gentlemen. This is discipline. Now, the Hard Rock was full. There was a convention or something going on. The tables were really, really full. Advantage players don't play if they can't use their advantage most of the time. Not me, but most people. All right, so we walked over to the Beau Rivage. Me and you and 220 inside. We walked over to the boat. We walked over to the Beau Rivage next door. We threw 2 hands apiece, colored up, and went to the bar. You went to the high limit slots for a minute, and then we lost you. Couldn't find you, and we went back. But anyway, so that was it. Got there Thursday afternoon. I threw 2 hands, all 3 of us after I got there. Anyway.
And they were losers, and they were all losers.
They were not good hands, and we colored up and we walked away, and I did not play any more Thursday night at all. Period. Went to bed early. Got up Friday morning. You weren't there. Y'all had already been playing and had walked off the table.
Well, we were there at 6:30. You came down there at 8. So
no, it was more like 7. It was more like 7 when I got there. Probably 7:30.
7, 8. Who's counting?
Anyway, but that first day and a half, my come out game has never been better.
Yes.
My game within a game had never been any better. I was a $15 table, folks, and I was doing a $10 world and a $2 ace deuce.
Yep.
And I hit so many world bets, and every time you hit one, you just keep pressing, and you keep pressing. I had some 7. I had setting for 7s or having 7 show up on my horn set, and there's no bonus bet to worry about at the Hard Rock. So we're not worried about ATS money or anything else. They'd hand me that $15. I'd press the world and the ace deuce. I got that world pressed up. 2 different times on Friday, I got that world pressed up to $50. I'd hit a couple of ace deuces or a yo in the middle of it, that kind of thing. Still pressing. Putting money in the rack, but pressing. And I hit 2 $50 world bets. Hit it one time with aces and hit it another time with a 12. And, all of a sudden they're paying you off with black chips and you hadn't even set a point yet. That's a great game within a game.
It's a game within a game. And you know what? You did it several times.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people did it, not just you, but we all kind of did it. But you're the one who was pretty much throwing it. We did it several times during the trip. I do want to talk about meeting my good buddy, Mr. Yo 11. So, I check in. Heavy was there. His room wasn't ready. We take his stuff. We put it in my room, and then I say, now I have another room at Harris because just in case somebody wanted to come and need a room. I said, let me go check in. We drive over there. I check in. It was quick. I had some free play. I said, all right, I have a top dollar machine, double top dollar that's calling my name. I go in there. I put in a couple $100, and I think I hit it for like 500. And then we go check out the high limit area, and we're just walking around. All of a sudden, I hear gargoyle. And I'm like, gargoyle? Oh my God! People are recognizing me. I turn around. He's like, it's Mr. Yo 11. I'm like, oh, I never met him. You probably have met him, but I've never met him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we stood there and we talked to him for a while, and kind of convinced him to stop by the class on Saturday and just see what's going on and what's up. And he's like, well, can I join the class? Is there, and Heavy's like, we got room and we can probably get you on a good deal. And long story short, he went to the class, but that was the first time, I see him on the chats. We chat together and stuff like that. But I've met him. I talked to him. Really cool. Everybody was cool, but this is someone that I chatted with, but never really texted or talked to on the phone. Really cool guy. I know you're out there, Mr. Yo 11. Thank you for meeting me, and thank you for your friendship, buddy. And then what did we do? We went back, and then we met you, and then we ate. I know we had some oysters, and I think we went to bed at getting ready for Friday.
Yeah, I mean we didn't play late. I can't even. Thursday night, I know I didn't play after we left Beau Rivage. Friday night, I'm sure I played.
Friday night, you played late on that Crapless.
Was that the night I played late on Crapless?
Yeah.
Well, that started out on the table next to it, the other 14-footer. And we had a big group of our guys. We opened the table, and it was okay. You ended up with a long ass roll on that thing, and I had left the table. And the reason I left the table was because there was a brand new fresh dealer, and he couldn't count.
Yes.
And our bets made him nervous, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I found it to be a little bit aggravating, and I went, stick left one is right open right over there on that table, on that Crapless. I'm just going to grab my chips, and I went straight to the Crapless table, which for me was a good thing, but I missed your roll. You had a long roll while I was over there, right?
Yeah. 14-footer. I was from straight out, kind of bouncy table. Actually, a bouncy table. I liked it because it was the only table that actually had a felt layout. It was the only table. Everything else was microfiber. I told them I want to play on this table because it's got a felt layout. Howard, who's going through some medical issues, needs a lot of prayers. He loves the Hard Rock. He loves those tables, and every time he goes to Biloxi, that's where he stays and that's where he plays. So I told, there was Oz and Bud. I think Bud was on the table with us. There were some other people.
Yeah, he was right next to you. He was in the turn right there next to you.
Yeah, he was right next to me, I think. And there were some other people in the chat that were probably on the table. I said, look, I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm going to pay homage to Howard, and I'm going to throw the Dice Magic from Straight Out. I don't know how, people were counting the roll. I didn't count it, but it was, I heard anything from 39 to a 44. I know I made $4,600 off that roll, starting with the 180 across. So I was glad I was doing it, not just for the table to make some money, but also for Howard. That was his favorite places to play, and I know he liked that table.
Right.
But yeah, you had left and you went over to the Crapless, and after that, I think we colored up and we all left to the VIP room, and then retired over to the to the rooms. I don't think we did a lot of day play. I mean, if you think about it.
Well, it was odd.
Friday,
it was kind of odd. Let me go ahead and get that Crapless story out of the way, I guess.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up. So I brought, the table was really, that's a 14-footer, microfiber surface. I bought it, stick left one, 220 inside, actually left that table and came over there with me. He got in at stick right too. The guy, I forget where the dice were. They were probably down on the right end. he didn't get to shoot. 220 didn't get to shoot, and the guy next to him shot and then left, and so 220 slid in to stick right one. I got the dice and I threw one hand, and it was 8 to 12. I don't even know. I hit some extremes, but I didn't get any repeaters on the extremes, which is what you're really looking for. You're looking for some repeaters on those extreme numbers, and I didn't hit them. And right before I was getting the dice, this little blonde lady came in, and you could tell she worked out a lot. I mean, she had I think she still had her workout clothes on, to be honest with you. But she had some pretty good guns on her. You could tell she was a workout girl. And she walks up and she goes, "Oh, Crapless craps. I like Crapless." And so I'm like, okay, this might be interesting. She got the dice and she had a pretty good little roll. I mean, she was just strictly a total just pick them up and chuck them type person, but those people will hit extreme numbers when a lot of people won't. And so we made a little money on her. The funny thing is I had asked the guy if he was at stick left 2. I said, "Can I buy in here at stick left 1?" He said, "Yeah," and he kind of slid down a little bit. Well, then when she walked up to the table, she made him push himself all the way down into the hook. I mean, she just like, "I'm buying in right here," and she pushed him down to the hook. Well, that guy gets the dice, and it was a $25 minimum bet on the table, and I went 311. My typical start out bet, 6-8, 311 in a field. As soon as he hit the first field, I went 2 and 12. The guy hit three twos real quick. He hit 3 twos real quick, a bunch of 3s and a bunch of 11s. Bunch of box numbers. He never threw a 12. I had a $15 12 sitting there all night. And he threw for about an hour. But what they were laughing at was she would start singing 2, 3, 11, 12 and clapping her hands, and she'd be doing 2, 3, 11, 12, 2, 3, 11, 12. And it was funny. And then all of a sudden she punched me in the shoulder with them guns of hers, and she went, "Come on, old man, get with it." And I went, "All right." So me and her both were sitting there going 2, 3, 11, 12. We did that till I was freaking hoarse. I could barely talk. I was losing my voice. But it was, I mean, the mantra of the table was so positive. I was afraid not to do it anymore. I mean, as soon as the stick would reach out there and touch those dice and start raking him to him, me and her would start clapping and singing 2, 3, 11, 12, 2. And he'd hit the damn things. I mean, I think I had $100 12, $100 2 when he 7'd out. I had $150 3 and $150 11 at least, plus a bunch of money on some box numbers. I think the only box number I didn't even have covered was the 9. And as soon as I reached over about halfway through this guy's toss and punched 220 inside on the other side there. I said, "Only a fool will not color up as when this guy is done." He said, yeah, I agree. And he just kept throwing and kept throwing and kept throwing. Finally, when he 7'd up, buddy, it was a rail dump into the cum area. Color me up. Let's get out of here. It was a great hand. I caught that great hand. And then I went to the bar. I was done for the night. That was it for me. I was happy. It was a great.
Yeah, I was asleep. I was in bed. That was past my bedtime, and I was ready to go to.
You catch an hour long roll on a crapless table where you're starting out with a $25 minimum bets, and do a good simple progression up on everything.
Yep.
You can make some good money quick. And he threw for an hour. I know he threw for an hour. Had to throw for an hour.
Yeah, I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. We were on the regular table, and there was a guy across. He was on your side of the table. I will
tell Joe asked if she had guns or lungs, and I'm just going to say both. She had both. But the guns were bigger. The guns were bigger, I will admit. The guns were bigger. And
There was,
and the guy she was with was like this much taller than me, and he was just kind of sitting over there watching us dance and sing while she was winning money. And he came up to her afterwards and said, "We ready to color up?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "And she's buying your dinner tonight because she made a pile of money, even though she didn't really know how to bet." But
well,
that's different.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of that. I mean, I don't know if it was Friday night or Saturday night. A whole lot of.
We run into Brian. You talking about we run into Brian P's wife and daughter all the way from North Carolina.
We'll talk about that in a minute. No, I'm talking about when we were playing and there was just a guy that just was random rolling from the hook at the Hard Rock, and I had one of the doctor next to me and Judge and other folks, and I went $30 6 and 8 because he was just. He wasn't part of it. And I said, all right, here's how I play somebody that's not on the group. He's not a DI. Here's how I play it. The guy ended up going on a hot roll, hitting all kinds of numbers. I filled up the line, stacked it up. When he 7'd out, I had made $478 just by going $30 6 and 8. And everybody's watching, going like, well, how do you know? I said, you don't. I mean, there were other people that I put $30 6 and 8, and the guy just 7'd out, and I lost it. But the truth of the matter is you don't. So how do you play somebody that's not a DI? You got options. I played with a $30 6 and 8, and I go the line. But it just so happened that guy. I mean, you and other guys at some point figured out that he's going to be on a roll and started putting money in. But at the beginning, your side was almost empty. There were only maybe a couple of bets on it from him, but that's about it. But that's how it goes.
Yeah. I'm sitting here reading God Complex, talking about how many chips he sets over there, that's a lot of chips. They're responsible for those, they got to keep an accurate count and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
folks, we were real close to getting deep in. There were a lot of crop circles left on that table. One of the guys took a picture actually, but if he'd have thrown for 30 more minutes, they would have been totally out of black chips and deep into their purples because every green was gone, every red was gone, all that. But I'm working on trying to collect as many black chips as I can at that point myself. A lot of people don't bet, don't press. I do, but the whole table had made a lot of money. I know 220 inside. I think he had outpressed me on the two. I think I had 100 and he had like 300. But anyway,
yeah.
I mean, we came close. We didn't felt that table, but it was getting pretty spry right there for a little while, and them crop circles showing up. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Well, I remember one of our plays in the group where we gave up so many chips that at some point I looked down and I'm like, guys, I've reached my my loss limit. I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and bleed money. And I think we all colored up. So, we had some bad sessions. We had sessions where we can get anything going, nothing. And I tell you, the dealers in the morning were very, very good. Early morning, they were excellent. Some of the best ones. The dealers during the day were okay, but the night dealers, oh my God. I mean, these folks need one-on-one training. I mean, go back to the dealer school and learn what a $30 6 and 8 pay.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've got some new dealers. And to be fair, they've lost some dealers to other places. Dealers always switch, and all of a sudden you got new guys trying to come in and fill. And if people are just making basic bets, those dealers they can handle it. The more seasoned players, I'm going to borrow the line from Old Bay there. The season you play, the more seasoned players, we tend to do a little more extravagant bets at times, or a little more extravagant presses. I mean, when you pull $30 out and say, take me to 420, they look at you like, I don't even know what you're talking about and how you did that,
Yeah.
So they were new in places, but, we won't get there yet, but Saturday morning, you and I only played one round the whole morning, and that was a lousy. I didn't even like the place. You wanted to play it. Real bouncy table down there at the Island View. Island View.
Yeah, so Saturday morning we were going to the class.
Yeah.
To meet Abby and everybody else. So I said, let's go to the Island View because, usually my wife likes to go over there. She likes to go on the side where the slot machines are on the beach side. So we went there. We played a little bit of slots, I think. And then
you always play. You can't resist them freaking high limit slots.
Hey, they made me some moolah this trip.
They did. I was quite impressed. Anybody that gets 3 hand pays in 4 days is, a buddy of mine.
Yeah. So we went on that bouncy table, and as soon as I saw the dice bounce like that, Ed's like, no, we're out. I'm like, no, I'm buying in. He's like, you're crazy. I said, no, buddy.
I told you not to buy in.
I made money off that roll. I don't know what you're talking about.
You made money. I didn't. I didn't bet on you because it was freaking bouncy.
I know, but I knew I threw off access, and I actually had a long roll.
I watched you do it. I tried to mimic it, and I couldn't do it. So I tried to do it.
Yeah.
I even went down and shot straight out right in front of you, trying to mimic your shot.
Right.
And my dice looked like they had, gone spastic. I mean, they went everywhere.
That is that table has
terrible.
A perfect.
Don't ever go there. Anybody.
If you can't shoot off access very well, set the sevens and shoot off access very well, don't play there.
No, that's a don't player. That's a don't players table right there.
It was just me and you, so there were no don't players. No, we went there, and then we went to the class, saw some folks. Bud, if you're out there on the chat still, thanks for lunch. Bud bought lunch for everybody. I met a lot of people there. Some I knew, friends that I knew, others that I didn't. And we stayed there for a little bit, and then, Ed started to get an itch in his pocket. He wanted to play. We went and played somewhere. I don't know where.
Where did we go?
Didn't. Well, no. That's the date that I ran. That's the time I ran over the curb and
we met. Yeah, okay. So we were running back after we helped do a little coaching at the dealer school.
We dropped Oz off.
We dropped Oz off, and then you dropped me off at the Beau Rivage. I said I'll go in and look at the tables and see if we can get on those. If not, we'll drive somewhere else. They were full. I didn't like it, so I said we'll just go somewhere else and see if we can get on a table. Go down, and then you're having to dodge this woman who's driving like an IndyCar driver out of the
parking lot. And I dodged her and ran over the curb and cut the tire. I'm driving a Hyundai Palisade, one of the biggest SUVs that they make. So I pull over a little bit further in the parking lot, out of the way.
From 100 yards away. I can hear.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
I mean, cut the tire very bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I've never had a problem with a rental car. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do now. I'm going to call a tow truck. Before I knew it, good old Oz was on the ground, undoing the spare tire. Ed was already hitting the jack and jacking the car up. And I'm like, guys, and within 15 minutes we had a donut on it. And I'm like, okay.
Speaking of donuts, we had another donut on it.
That's what it's called. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pull it back in the parking lot. I'm not going to drive it. And I'm going to call the rental agency to see what to do. The reason why we're telling this story is because sometimes things happen and you get upset, but sometimes out of the bed, something good happened. You have to stay positive. You have to have a positive attitude. If you let bad bring you down, it's going to get you down. You gotta find something positive out of this. And there was something very positive out of it. I'll get to there in a minute. I go up to the room, they go to play. I called the rental agency and they said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just bring it up to the airport tomorrow morning in Gulfport, and you get another car. Don't worry about it. We got you." Because I had rented it from New Orleans. We do our night play. We talked a little bit about the night plays. Brian P., his wife and his daughter-in-law.
Yeah, daughter. I think it's his daughter.
Yeah, they were there for a baby shower or something like that. So he told them, go see.
I think they were there for a mothers and daughters gambling trip with other mothers and daughters
at the Scarlet Pearl. So they're like, go see, Ed and Gargle. So they came over, we met them, and
nice ladies.
I'm like,
nice ladies.
I'm gonna go to the sugar factory and eat a banana split. I love their banana splits. Why don't we all go in there? Ed was at the craps table playing at that point. So we all go in there. I get this big old, it's huge, 4 people.
I never seen a banana split that big in my life. That plate was 2 foot long.
We started eating, and Ed calls and where are you? I said, we have a chair for you here. We have a seat, and we have ice cream for you. He comes in. We sit there and eat, and we have fun with Brian P.'s wife and his daughter, and we give him some chips and stuff like that. And Ed signs one of his chips and gives it to her, and she's taking pictures, sending it to Brian. Brian's like, "What the hell are you guys doing? Those are my craps buddies," and stuff like that, sending back in the text. It was just funny as hell.
It was fun. Then they wanted selfies with us.
Then they wanted selfies. So we were at the craps table, and this person comes up to Ed. He was wearing his cowboy hat and says, "Sir, hey, I know you. You're Ed. Can I get a selfie?" The dealer's looking at me, and she's like, "Who is that guy?" I said, "You don't know him?" She's like, "No." I said, "He's one of the stunt guys in Yellowstone." She's like, "What?" I'm like, yeah, he's famous. He's one of the guys. Look at his and she's like, "Oh my God, I want his autograph." I said, "Oh yeah, he plays the cowboy in Yellowstone, and he does all the stunt stuff." When Ed shows up, I said, "Act like a cowboy." He's like, "What?" I said, "Don't worry about it. Just act like a cowboy." So he's like, "Okay." So that was funny because she actually thought he was a superstar.
Yeah.
The very next day, I was supposed to go to Gulfport to trade the car in first thing in the morning. I asked Ed and Oz to ride with me because it's a long trip and I don't want to be myself in case something happens. They're like, "Sure." Those guys, I tell you, Ed and Oz, you guys are, I can't thank you enough. You were my comfort throughout this situation with the flat tire. And I know that maybe this is funny for some folks, but it wasn't my car. It was a rental. So I didn't know whether they're going to charge me a ton of money because I didn't get insurance on it. Anyways, we get a car. On the way back, I said, "Wherever you guys want to go, we'll go play." I don't know which one chose IP. I think they were, you chose IP was because we were passing by the Scarlet Pearl. We were talking about Harris, and you said, "You know what? The IP's right here. Let's stop by the IP." And so we pulled up.
That was me.
And we went to the IP.
Great suggestion on my part.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm getting some more brown water because I brought my own.
All right, go ahead. So we get up there, and there were a couple spots on the table. Oz takes stick right 2. Ed takes stick left 2. And I take straight out. There was a guy between Ed and I on the hook.
So the guy at stick left 1 was a seasoned player. He set the dice, he tossed the dice. Did he have great form and mechanics? No, but he was well heeled. The guy's sitting there in a sport jacket, collared shirt. He's a dude.
Yep.
And I asked him, I said, "How's the table?" He said, "It's been cold, but he says, I feel like it's trying to warm up." And I said, "We're fixing to heat this sucker up." That's what I told him.
Yes, yeah. And then there was an Asian guy to my left on the hook, playing a little bit, but I saw some ATS bets, but they weren't really giving out any money. The guy at stick left 1, 7's out. Ed buys in. And I had bought in for 1,500 because we were gonna just do a morning play and then go do something else. So I bought in for 1,500.
500. I bought in for 500.
Ed has a few. What was that?
I bought in for 500.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much Oz bought in for.
I know.
Ed has a few good rolls. He needed the 5 for the small. I remember. The Asian guy.
I couldn't hit that damn 5 for nothing.
The Asian guy lays the 5. So I lean over and I said, you know what? We need some positive, not negative. You need to bet the 5. He's like, really? I said, yeah, you need some positive. As soon as I said that, Ed sevens out and he makes his money. So I don't say anything. All along, the guy in the hook is talking to the dealers, and this is where mindfulness comes in play. You know what's going on the table. They know him by name. They're asking him about what time he's going back to work, and stuff like that, and about his daughter, and so I told him. So I started talking to him. I said, look, if you want to shoot from here, I can move. He's like, no. This is what I love to shoot from. So I said, okay. He's talking to them, so I figured, okay, he comes here a lot. This is his shooting position. Somebody like that you bet on because they play on that table long. So he gets the dice, and I put a quarter down on the pass line, and I go quarter on the ATS, 2-1-2 for the dealers.
That guy right there. He went 25.
Yeah.
I went 5.
Ed went 5.
I only bought in for $500. A $15 table. I got 15 on the pass line.
So he throws and he sets the point, and I go 180 across. He goes on a heater, and
here's the interesting thing about this heater, because I'm talking to the guy in the sport coat all the way through this thing. I'm like, this guy, he hit 8, 9, 10, and 11 just like that.
Yep.
I mean, he had a couple of repeaters on the 8 or 9 or something like that, but
yep.
he had the tall hit except for the 12. Early in that thing. Like within 10 tosses, he just needed a 12.
So he hit the 10 really fast 3 times because I started with a 35. Within a few minutes, I took 900 and down back to 35, and the pit boss and the dealer were arguing about how did I get from 35 to 900. And he's like, well, he got paid on, and he did this, and then he got the 600, and he wanted to take the 300 down. That's $900. And because I heard them arguing, he's like, wait, he only had like $100. Why did you give him 600? He's like, well, because he pressed it. So he gave me that press. He hit 8, 9, 10, 11, and then he started working on the downside, and he needed the 5 for the small. I leaned down to my Asian buddy, and I'm like, look.
And four was the point at this time. I remember this.
4 was the point at this time. And I said, look, we need the 5. Let's be positive. I said, I'm going to hop it. He's like, oh, I'm going to hop it too. And I said, look, if you lose the money, I'll give you the money for the ATS. Don't play the don't. Let's make it positive. We both hopped it. I hopped it for 25 each. The guy hit it with the hop.
Right there on the spot. Yep, hit the spot right there.
The Asian guy was going crazy. He's like, oh my God, it works. Positive is good. I'm like, positive is your friend, buddy. Yep. And I give the guy a big hug, and I give him, and we get paid. I have 25 on it, so I get paid $750 or something like that on it, and I get paid on the hop. I throw the guy 2 black chips from.
Yep, you did. The pay. I saw you do that.
And he's like, "Oh man," because he's not betting a lot, So I give him 2 black chips. He's like, "Man," and he's a big fellow, by the way. He gives me this bear hug, almost crushes me, and I'm like, "It was only 2 black chips. I can't breathe." But he was
a full-grown man plus right there. I mean,
but he was happy.
We were all happy.
12.
Shit.
So we needed the 12. So I tell the stick guy, I mean, just like you see me play when we play Crapsy, I play. That's how I play it, real. So I throw the stick guy $25 and a $5. I say two-way hopping 12. He throws and he hits a big number where I'm getting paid a couple black chips. So the $25, no biggie. I do that 3 times and he misses it. So the 4th time I said, you know what? I don't want to do it.
Yeah. So when you stopped, the guy next to me in the sport coat said, well, if he's not going to do it, I will. And he throwed his out there on the 12. Boom. Guy threw a Dolly Parton right there.
Dolly Parton.
Full
he hits
busted.
The 12.
Full
hits
busted.
The full ATS.
Yep. Hit the ATS right there.
$1,000 chips coming our way. $1,000 chips coming our way.
Yeah. We're getting paid real nice.
I pick up a $500 chip and I give it to the guy. That guy, he almost in tears. He's like, "Oh man!" But I got paid, several $1,000s off of the ATS. Long story short.
So then the next throw, we cut our bets off, right? We did.
2 rolls. Cut our bets off for 2 rolls.
We cut our bets off.
For 2 rolls.
But the point was still 4.
Right. So I hopped the 4.
You hopped the 4. Every freaking body hopped the 4. I mean, when you threw that out there, we all threw money. We hopped the 4s.
He hit the 4.
Right then.
I had $25 on it and a black chip. And then he set another point, and I told him I'm off for 1 point, and he 7'd out.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he 7'd out, they gave us our money, and I said, "Color coming." And Ed looks at me and he says, "Dude, I want you shoot." And I'm like, I'm here. I won. I'm here to make money. I don't care about dice. I got a craps table at home. I can shoot dice all day. I'm here to make money. Come on, guys. Let's go celebrate this win. So we colored up. We went to the high limit room because they have a top dollar over there. And I know where it is. And it always calls my name. Played it a little bit. It wasn't nice to me. You played a slot machine that gave you some money.
A little bit.
So Sunday morning was really, really good. I know
we're already into Sunday afternoon by then because we lost all that time going to the airport. We went back from there. After you got through with your slot soiree, we went back to the Hard Rock, and yours truly said, "You know what? We got a private table at 4:00. I'm gonna go take a nap."
Yeah,
I went to my room, took a nap.
Yeah,
chill out.
And we all did.
Yeah.
Because look, folks.
We've played one session. Gargoyle's up over $9,000. I'm up. Everybody's up. We're done.
There's no sense of giving it back right away. Don't stay at the table. You always heard us say that. Don't stay at the table and give it back. Enjoy your winnings for a little bit. Let it simmer. I think I went downstairs later to the high limit and hit one of my 4 hand
pays. You got
pays.
another freaking hand pay, most likely.
Yeah, and Ed's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. All I do is push the button. Maybe we need to do videos on slot plays instead of DI, But all I do is push the button."
You're trying to take a nap and you're getting a text from a guy going, "Do I need to get them to hold federal tax on this one?" I'm like, "How many have you hit? Is this my 3rd one?" I said, "No, not yet."
That's right. I texted. He was asleep in the room, and he's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I'm like, "No, dude. I just hit one." But we go to the private table on Sunday night or afternoon. No, it was in the evening.
4:00.
Folks.
4:00.
It was 4:00. Well, we met in the VIP room or somewhere around.
Yeah, we met over there with the guys that were going to be on the private table and kind of. I don't know if you want to call it a lecture. A lot of them never been on a private table before. And we, we warned them, don't get overexcited. We've got this table for a long time. Just kind of ease in, blah, blah, blah. Gave them pointers, tips, and kind of some rules. You're either here to shoot or you're here to win money. And if you're here to shoot, let us know so we won't bet heavy on everybody. And, we weren't mean, rude. We had about 5 shooters that we had selected. We had a 3 strikes and you're out rule, basically. If you're not, and if you want to shoot, just, you shoot. But if you're not good in your position, don't even worry about it. Just pass the dice. We had a good full table. We probably had 10 or 11 guys on the table, I guess, on that 14-footer.
Yeah, we had pretty good group.
And so we had one. I'm just going to count. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 designated shooters for the table to start with. That's what we had.
Yeah. And folks, if you get invited to play on a private table and you're asked to buy in for a certain amount, let's just say $3,000, before you go to the private table sometime during the day, take that money, go to the cage or the VIP room and say, I want to front this money. That means I will take it as a marker. So that whenever you go to the table, just say, I have a marker, give me the chips. Instead of sitting there and they all count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000.
It
or
takes a while to count that much money.
Freaking players. It took about 45 minutes just to kind of get.
Yeah, we had 2 stick changes while they were counting money, I think.
They came to me and I'm like, 5K, please. I had a market. It's easy. You don't need to be a very important person. You don't need to be anybody. Anyone can have, you can go and say, look, I have $1,000. I want to put it in front money. I want to get a market. It makes it easy when you go to the table. They'll say, okay, you have a marker. All right, how much do you want? Boom, here it is. At some point, they'll go pick it up. They'll bring you a piece of paper. You sign it and you're done. They don't have to count all that money. Anyway, I go to straight out. And I'm like looking at Ed, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not Ed. He's a stick left one. He has to start with everybody watching. All of a sudden, Oz says, well, since this is a private table, we have kind of our own rules of where we want to start. Cargo's going to start us. And I look at him, and I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah, you're going to start from there, and we're going to go this way. All right, let's get the PSO out of the way. Guess what? PSO.
No. You hit a point, you set a point, you hit a box number, then you 7 that. Wasn't that you?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. PPSO.
Yeah, you had 3 tosses.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I went.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately we had several players. It was pretty bad until they got to that side of the table and then went back around.
All right.
Next time around.
Here's how bad it was. First 4 shooters, folks, had 9 tosses total. That's how that damn private table started out. That's how ugly things can be in the beginning or at any time, but that's how this one started. 4 shooters, 9 tosses.
That's it.
Everybody is underwater.
Yep.
Even if you're betting small, you're underwater.
Bud is sitting to my right. He's sitting on a chair. If you know Bud, he has his cane with him. At one point, he picked up his cane. He's like, "I'm about to go baseball on these folks if I don't get a decent roll." I'm like,
that would be Bud.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. But it came around. Bud passed the dice.
Let me answer Cadillac Jack's question because he's got a good question there. Because I was with you when you went to the cage to set up your marker. They do give you a receipt for those chips at the cage when you pre-purchase. I'm going to call it pre-purchase a marker. In other words, you're making a deposit, and then all you got to do is get call it as a marker at the table.
Yeah.
So they do give you a receipt for that. Yes.
There's a white copy and a yellow copy with everything on it. You sign it. They take the white copy. You keep the yellow copy.
Yep. So
And you can go at any table. You can go at any table, regardless, craps, whatever it is, and say, "Here's my player's card. I got a marker." And they'll say, "Okay, how much do you want?" They don't. They'll, you tell them, okay, they don't ask you how much the marker is. They ask you how much do you want, and you say 3,000. They'll give you the 3, and then they go look. And if you don't have 3,000, then they'll come back and say, "Sir, you don't have that." But usually they trust you, and then they'll just bring the paperwork. You sign it, and then pretty much. And then at the end,
it was a good trick.
On your way out, like on my way out, I had some left. I went there and I said, "I want to clear my marker." They're like, "Okay." They get the the cash, give it to you, you sign it, and then you walk.
Yeah. And you went to the bank. But anyway, let's keep going with the story.
So it goes back around. I throw like a 20 rolls. It was pretty good. I think 220 inside gets the dice. He throws really well. Then Oz gets the dice, and he goes on a heater. And I mean, he goes on a heater. I don't know how long it was, but it was pretty long because my chips started stacking up. And then he sevens out, and then who gets the dice but Mr. Roll to Win Craps? And I'm like, okay, Ed's going to be either the hero or the zero, but it doesn't matter. I'm going 180 across. By that time, we had good dealers. They were handpicked, by the way. They were handpicked.
Yeah, we did put in a request for specific dealers, and we got them.
One of them was a nice lady, Megan, and she, if you want to talk below the belt, she will talk like a sailor. She didn't care. And we were having so much fun.
You kept humping my leg. You kept humping me, man.
I was kind of serious gargoyle, just concentrating. This time with all the PSOs, I felt like, okay, we need to get something going. So I started kind of having fun with folks. Bud was there. We were having fun. The doctor was next to me and stuff. The table started to kind of get a little bit of energy to it. And then Ed gets the dice. And he starts throwing. He sets the point of 8 or 9. I don't know. But I go 180 across, and everybody wants to do the gargoyle. They call it the gargoyle. And the dealers immediately started knowing what we wanted. They were very good.
They say, everybody's doing the gargoyle. We can hear it down there on that end.
Okay, you want the gargoyle, you want the gargoyle, you want the gargoyle, 180 across. They knew exactly what to do. Ed threw a 5. My 25 went to 50. He threw something, and then he threw a 5. Took the 50 to 100. Boom, boom, 5. 100 goes to 250. Boom, 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 5. 250 goes to 500. 5. I went over there and ran just like the guy did to me at the Cromwell. And I started hugging him and humping his leg. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I said, "Dude, I just made almost $800 on the hit. You deserve a hug." He's like, "All right, leave me alone."
He wasn't hugging me. He was humping me. He was humping me like a French dog in a whorehouse, buddy. He was.
I go over there and I'm putting my chips. He gets the dice and I didn't even get a chance to tell the dealer what I want to do. He throws another 5, 2 in a row, and I had $500 on him. I was going to take it up to 1,000.
But you came and humped my leg, and you forgot to press
because he saw me coming, and I'm like on him. Ed had a decent roll. I made a lot of money.
The stick lady wanted to know if I knew that guy, and I said, "Well, he's my husband."
The guy next to him is Rock. If you guys know Rock, he sets the point. He sets the point, and he threw 3 4s for me, not in a row, but I do the 100, 300, and then at the third one I go to give him a hug. He turns around. He says, "Don't you fucking dare."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And Ed's like, "Is that all it takes?"
Yeah. That's all. I wish I'd have known that.
Short, we make some good money, but I was getting really hungry. Everybody was getting hungry and thirsty at the table. We played for 3 hours, and we were up at some point. I was up, I know. So I'm like, okay, guys, I gotta eat. Color coming. bunch of us color up. Ed, you and a few others stayed. So I don't know.
One other guy, me and one other guy stayed. Y'all all
so
colored up.
I know you had some good roles.
So yeah. So here's kind of what happened. They all colored up. Most of them, I don't know if all, but most that had fell down in the hole had climbed up to positive or better. I was still down. I counted my rack while everybody, because it took a while to color all them guys up. I was $900 down. And I was a little bit pissed that they were up and I was not. Now, so I said, you know what? I know I'm starving. I mean, I was hungry. I mean, I was really, really hungry. But I decided that I was going to throw a little bit more because, number one, I play those tables a lot. I mean, that's like almost basically my home casino, especially in Biloxi. That's my home casino. And I know that table. I know that I can put some hands together on that table if things are working for me. And then all of a sudden, they're all gone, and I'm like, you know what, Ed? This is just like being at home, except you don't have to go rake the dice to yourself. There's nobody on the table. It's just you and the one guy to your left. Good shooter, good player, by the way. Very good player. And I started throwing the dice, and I was measuring it out, measuring my toss out, and I was like, okay, I got it. I'm hitting some numbers. I'm hitting repeaters. And then, I don't know, a little brain blip, I don't know what. All of a sudden, I threw it too deep. Real close to the wall. 7 out. I didn't get mad. I didn't get upset. I counted my rack, and I said, that was your fault, Ed. You own that 7. That was 100% your fault. You know exactly what you did. God complex, I'll try to get back to your comment here in a moment. And so the other guy threw, and I made very basic bets on him. He had a decent little, 8 or 9 tosses. Made a little bit of money. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting the dice back. And I look, and 220 inside, he's already colored in, but he's kind of waiting on me, and he's just leaning on the table over here, and he's just watching me throw. And I'm throwing, and I'm throwing, and I'm throwing, and I'm pressing everything up just like I normally do with Mississippi rules on those 5 and 9s. And, I don't know how long the roll was. It was a long roll. As soon as I was done, I said, I know. I looked at my rail and I said, okay, I'm positive I'm up. And I went from 900 down to 900 positive. So that was an $1,800 swing and 2 tosses. So I'm done. I'm probably never going to play again tonight. I am done. I'm happy. I've gone from down here to up here. I'm going to go eat because I'm starving. And so we went and ate. Now let me see if I can find God complex.
He was saying buy chips at the window and then bring them to the table.
You can do that as well. You can do that as well.
You can do that as well. Yeah, you can do that as well. But you can easily also get a marker. And they knew us. I mean, a lot of them knew us because we've been there several times while we were there. And so when we walked up, and if you're rated high, like I'm a Hall of Famer with them. So if you're rated high and you say you want a marker, they won't go check it and wait. They'll just give it to you. So it was pretty good. We long story short, we had some good nights and we had some bad losses at the table.
Let me finish my story, dude.
Oh, I thought you said you went to eat. You finished, right?
I did go eat. Eat. Me, 220 inside, and Rock. Now, you all guys, y'all were kind of privileged because y'all left early and y'all went in and y'all sat down with this big crowd. They wouldn't let us join you, so we went and got our own table, and we were done before y'all ever even got your food served, I think. But
just because we had picky eaters at our table, people wanted like this fancy meals. I just wanted oysters.
I'm just gonna tell you, if you go to Hard Rock, or if you go down there and eat it at the Half Shell Oyster House, if you order anything that says Orleans, it's going to be excellent. It could be shrimp Orleans, it could be steak Orleans, which is my favorite. Anything Orleans is going to be good. It's going to be a little bit on the Cajun side now, so if you don't like Cajun, don't order it. But if you like Cajun at all, anything Orleans is magnificent. So we ate, and we're good. I mean, I am, and mentally, I am totally done for the night. I have come from a big hole to a big positive, big swing. That's a big swing when you go from 900 down to 900 up. And the steak Orleans is good. The steak is filet mignon, by the way. And then got a little shrimp on it. Nice little Orleans sauce on it. It's great stuff. Anyway, so I'm sitting there. We ate dinner. I had a glass of wine. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I am totally done.
Yep.
We go to the bar. We lose Rock. Rock, he went to the tables. Me and 220 inside, we're having us a real nice bourbon there at the bar, free. We're talking about the night, the session, how good things went, how he was he almost bought in 2 or 3 times on my toss, on that last toss. But he said, I didn't want to interrupt you. He said, but when you hit a point, he said, I was just sitting there grinding my money in my hand, wanting to buy in. But I didn't buy in. That's what he said. So we have our drink, and he looks at me and he goes, are we done for the night? And I said, well, yeah, I think I'm done. He says, okay, I'm done unless you change my mind.
You twisted his arm.
No. I said, look, here's what we'll do. I said, I know some of the guys are on the tables over there that are in our group. Let's finish our drink. Let's just walk by, look at them, say hi, see how they're doing. And then I'm going to go to the room, go to bed, because I'm going to play in the morning. That's my thought. That's my thought process. We walk by the table, and I'm walking by, and, a bunch of the guys, all the stick left side's full. I mean, the table on stick left side is full. There's Rock that had been eating dinner with us. He's at stick right 1. And who is beside him but none other than Brian P.'s wife? She is sitting there playing craps. The daughter is sitting over there basically in the hook. And they see me walk by and they grab me by the shirt and they go, Ed, come over here. Come here. We want you to play with us. Please play with us. It's going to make my husband really mad if you'll play craps with us. And honestly, I didn't want to play anymore. I really didn't want to play anymore. I just was like, I was done. I was feeling good. I had my money back. I was, I'm up. But how can you refuse a good Southern lady's request?
Oh.
You can't refuse a Southern lady's request to do something. So I said, okay, if I can, she said, we're going to make room for you right here. And it was down there in stick right hook.
You are such a people person, Ed.
I know. I really am. I'm such a nice guy. So I was like, okay, I bought in. It was a $15 table. I didn't want to play. I'm like, I'm going to buy in with $300. I hope I can walk away with my $300. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to play, talk to them and, have a good time. I mean, I was feeling pretty good. I had a couple of drinks. $300. Guy shooting straight out. He's getting the dice. I bet an $18 6 and 8, and he PSOs. $36 down the drain right there. And she said, and so Brian P's wife looks at me. He's like, well, that didn't go too good. I said, no, but I'm going to play the don't on the next guy. So I put $15 down on the don't pass. She said, I'm going to play it with you. I said, good, go ahead. She put hers down there. Frickin' guy throws a 7 on the come out. Swipe that 15 away. She starts fussing at me like, see, you're not supposed to play that way. I said, well, I'm going to do it again. I went $15 on the don't pass. She put $15 on the pass line. Guy set a 9. I laid $45 odds on that, and I put a $15 DC out there. He throwed a 4. DC traveled to the 4. I laid $50 odds on that 4. She stared at me and looking at me. I put another $15 DC down. He throws a 6, and the 6, the DC travels to the 6. I told the dealer, I'm leaving that one flat. They said, okay. And then he throwed a 7. He'd hit one box number inside, one outside number, and he throwed a 7. So then they start paying me off, and I'm pulling my chips in. Of course, the nice thing about the don't is you win all your money on one toss. The bad thing is about half of it's your money you already put out there. So that's kind of how that works. So anyway, so the dice come around, 220 inside, had finally bought in. The daughter had slid some people had left the table on that guy's PSO, so he had bought in. The daughter had slid over, and 220, we're both way out of position. He's left-handed. He needs to be at stick right. I'm right-handed. I need to be on the other end. So he throws from straight out, and he throws just kind of a normal, average style hand. I wasn't upset with him because I didn't go very heavy. I knew he was out of position. I knew it was a long throw, and, blah, blah, blah. So, it's like probably a break-even type of hand. The dice are coming to me, and I'm down there in the hook, and I said, slide over a little bit to 220, and I could kind of get a straight shot down. And so I'm sitting there like this. I'm kind of like the golfer or something. I'm looking, and I go over here, and I said, do I want to throw over here into the turn? And I kind of lined my body up, and I went, all right, and then I came back around. Do I want to throw straight down this pass? I said, I'm going to throw straight down this pass line. So I pulled my body right up against the rail. We talked about that early in our classes or in our videos about locking yourself in at the table. I locked myself in so I could focus straight down. All the guys on that end of the table were from our class and other things, so they were all of our guys. They had nothing in my way. And I started out with a 3V. And I started hitting points. I started making a little money. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of working, and I'm really locked in, and I'm using the pass line as a runway, straight down, and trying to land them straight down on the other end. And I'm hitting the same spot over and over and over. At some point during that time, you walked by and said you were either going to bed or you were going to the high limit room.
No, I was coming back from the high limit because I hit $3,200 on Buffalo.
You sucker.
So you just slip, and I said, and you guys are like, come play, and I'm like, nope, I am going to bed.
Yep. So, well, there wasn't no room. The table was freaking packed. But
yeah.
Luckily, it was packed with people we knew, so there was no chips on that end.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I'm getting a stick change, and I'm still tossing. Now I started this hand with a $20 5, which is the automatic buy on the 5, $18 6 and 8, and a $15 field bet. That's how I started my hand. 20 on the 5, 18 6 and 8, $15 field bet. That was it. That's how I started my hand. Next thing I know, I've got a stick man, and he's not doing it on purpose, but he's got the stick, and instead of holding the stick straight up in front of him or on the rail, he's leaning it on his shoulder, and it's sticking out like this into the front of the table. And I'm like, damn, that guy's stick is in my way. And so I started throwing under his stick, down the same line, but under his stick. But it was kind of messing with me a little bit. It's like too much. I'm having to concentrate on too much. I got to miss his stick and hit my landing spot. So I told 220 inside, I said, we got to get that stick to move his, to straighten, hold it up straight. He went down there and talked to somebody on the left. I don't think that worked. So he came back and he made a dealer bet to our dealer over here. And he went, hey, by the way, would you get him to hold his stick straight up? And as soon as he placed that bet for her, she said, hey, she called him by his name. Turn that stick straight up. Don't stick it out on the table. And I'm just popping. I mean, I have not moved my legs. I have not moved my left hand. I am locked in. I can't move. Only thing I'm moving is my right hand, and that's to collect chips, put them in the rack, pick up the dice, and throw. Nothing else is moving. I'm totally 100% locked in. I hit a $250 10. Remember what I started with. Now that I'm sorry, I did not hit a 10. No. I hit some 10s, but not that big. I hit a $250 4. Now remember, I started with a 5, 6, 8, and a field bet. Field bet paid. I split it and went to the 4 and 10. I hit a $250 4. I hit a $200 5 twice. Second time I pressed it to 300 so I could put some more money in the rack. And I hit a $420 6. $490 to the rack, 500 for 10.
Yep.
And I finally sevened out. And buddy, I mean, as soon as I sevened out, I was stiff. I was locked in. I couldn't move. I picked my chips up and I said, color coming in right that moment.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, and at my age, plus I hadn't moved. I mean, my left arm was locked in over there. My left leg I was pulled up directly right up against the table. My right leg was stabilizing me behind me. I'm shooting straight down just like this, just straight down just like this, hitting that spot. And it was funny. I had all this color, and I had 2 white chips. I thought, well, that's not going to color up. So I threw everything else out there. I had the 2 white chips in my rack in my hand, and they colored me up, and it was exactly $2,000. Now, I had made dealer bets. I'd made pass line bets with odds for them. I mean, we'd made a lot of bets for them. But I always like to give them a decent hand in. I had $2 freaking dollars left. I leaned over to 220 inside. I said, here's $2 for the dealers. You figure out what you got left and give that to them. So I colored up from a $300 buy-in to a $2,000 color up, and I was done, totally done. That was my last toss of the weekend right there.
Yeah, people that were on the tables with me saw what I did to the dealers. I mean, a lot of times I would say, take me up, from a $30, base 35, I would say, take me up to 60 and keep the change. Every time I went up, I'd say, keep the change. And in the end, I gave him. That night that I had the 40+ roller from Straight Out, it was the night crew. And I don't know if Bud's still on the chat or not, but he'll remember. But there are several other people that may be in the chat that remember. Around the 40+ rolls, the stick person gives me the dice with the 7s showing. Now, I was already setting for the 7s and throwing, but I don't like I want to set them. I don't like the stick to pass them. So he's like, oh, I'm sorry. So I'm like, don't worry about it. And I put my fingers down, and he slapped the table, almost hitting my fingers. He's like, I got him. So he took him back out, and then he changed them and passed them down. And I went down there to pick them up, and then all of a sudden the dealer leans over. It was a lady. She had, kind of braided hair and stuff like that, leaned over. She was just trying to fix her chips. And literally, she was kind of tall. her head and her face was like right there when I'm trying to throw, with the magic dice. It's like dice magic dolls. You kind of go like this. If I thrown her, I would, pop her in the head. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, guys. I mean, literally, it took, and then all of a sudden, when that happened, on the other end, one of our guys started to regress, and they didn't know how much. It literally took 3.5 minutes for me to toss the dice after that whole fiasco, because give me the dice and blah blah blah, and not saying I said it not because of that, but when you ice the shooter, you ice the shooter.
Yeah.
Those dealers, the night shift dealers, were not as good, but we're gonna get to our sayonara slot play and stuff like that. But before we do that,
yeah, go ahead.
Before we do that, can we do a quick gargle trick of the trade?
Yeah, you can do that. And while you're getting set up for that, I'm just going to say, that dealer. I mean, those dealers were so excited because we were betting them heavy during that last roll of mine. And she looked at me and she said, "You went beyond 3 stick changes." I think if I had thrown 4 or 5 more times, I probably would have hit 4 stick changes on that roll. But it was a solid three stick change toss, and I was done. Like I said, I told y'all earlier, the next morning I didn't even play. I was fine. I was like, I got my money, I'm done. I'm not going to put any more out there, even though I wanted to. So, again, a little bit of discipline on my part, which is highly unusual. But okay, you're going to give us a little trick of the trade.
Right. So if you took a class
I wish I could zoom that in better for you. Let's see if I can.
No, that's okay. I think people can see it. If you guys have taken a class with heavy, there you go. You know what this is, right? You put that in here, and then you go like this to kind of practice holding the dice up.
Yeah.
Right? It's a block. Some people use a book. Some people use stuff. Now, in the casino, you can't really put that there if you're new and practice. So here's what you can do. Depending on what the table limit is, whether it's $10 or something like that, $15, $25. If you're the shooter, you have to put money down. So let's say it's a $15 table. Well, $15 is 3 $5 chips. So what you can do is, because you can stand different ways, and I know you're shooting like this, but it doesn't matter. You can put the dice closer to your chips and then put your fingers on the chips and pick up the dice. And it's just like as if you use this. If you like your your fingers a little bit deep, you can say
Folks,
$10.
that's a fantastic freaking idea right there, and I never even thought about it.
The casino won't ask you what you're doing, And here's how I do it. Usually I have a quarter. I play with quarters, but I ask the dealers. I said, "Hey, you want the tip right here?" If I want to do it, or when I used to do it, and they're like, "Yeah, you can put them right here." I said, "Okay." I said, "Look, I'm just gonna make sure my dice is straight before I throw it. Is that okay?" They're like, yeah, no, as long as you're not doing anything, I'm like, no, I just want to do it like this, and then make sure my dice is straight. And they're like, yeah, no problem. So I do it, and literally, you can just pick it up, and then you can throw.
Good
and
idea.
if you want them skinny, you can do 20. You can say, instead of 15, you can put $20 on the pass line. Or do it with your odds if you want to put, some odds up there.
Yeah, perfect.
Gargoyles, trick of the trade. Somebody asked me, did you run out of tricks of the trade? I said, no, I got some. I'll give you one that, next time we do a video. So there you go, folks.
So, we had a fun time, and a lot of people made a little bit of money. I know a lot of them stayed and played on into Monday. I left Monday morning. I needed to get home after I didn't play initially, and then kind of stood around and talked to everybody. I got in the car and I headed north. But I know my phone kept beeping during the drive about people hitting shit. One of them was him.
Yeah, so I gotta tell the story. So, I had the room at Harris.
Yeah.
And so Heavy had already checked out of Harris and was gonna, and he went to the bow.
Yep.
And I told him, I said, look, I gotta go to Harris and check out. So he's, I'll meet you later for either breakfast here or something like that. So I went to first of all, I went to the bank because I took all the money because I checked out of the Hard Rock. Took my, my winnings and everything that I brought to the casino. Went to the bank, deposited it, and then went by on the way back. The bank was in Ocean Springs, so it was over the bridge. Came back and I went to Harris, and I had my luggage and everything, so I didn't want to park in the garage. So I pulled up, handed the bellman a little bit of cash, and I said, I just need to check out and then do a quick hit at the casino. And, I think I have like $25 free play and then head back out. And he's like, no worries, don't worry. Nobody's going to mess with it as long as you don't park here all day. So checked out, and I made sure that I had my $25 free play, went back in, looked for my double top dollar, $5. I said, I'm going to play it for $10. $10, 2 hits, that's $20 a pull. Let me put $200 in, and that's it. They're not going to take any more. The first pull, it gave me the money symbol, and I have the picture. I hit $100, a $50, and a 5 times 2. Hit them for $3,200. So I had to sit there.
Pay on the way out the door.
On the way out. So I took a picture, sent it to
everybody. Everybody in North America got that picture.
Yeah, well, I was trying to send it to Oz because we're supposed to figure out what to do for lunch because he was on his way out. I sent it to the group instead of just to him by mistake. But everybody was like, hey, we're still at the Hard Rock, coming to play. And I'm like, nope, no play. My money is in the bank. I got this money now, but I ain't touching it. I'm good to go eat ribs at the Hard Rock Cafe. Long story short, we all met, and there were some people playing at the table. And I'm like, I don't want to play at the table. So it was Bud, myself, and Jamie, I think. We were sitting in the hallway, and there were some slots there. So I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of play for a little bit. I put $100. Bud is probably laughing. Within a few hits, I got a bonus. I put $100 and cashed out for $700. And I'm like, okay, somebody does not want me to leave the casino, but I am leaving.
You had a plane to catch in another city.
Yeah, I was going to drive to New Orleans, drop the rental car, and then fly back home. We had a good lunch, Heavy, the crew. We ate good.
No ribs. You never got your ribs. You never got your ribs, did you?
I did that day.
Oh, you did? You finally got your ribs. Okay.
Yes, I split it. I split my ribs up with Doc. It was tough to say goodbye because I haven't seen Heavy in several years except on video. Not sure when I'm going to see him again. He's not getting any younger. It was, I haven't seen Howard for several years, and now he's sick. So, I'm trying to make sure I see folks because everybody's getting old. But I had fun. We had, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, pretty much.
That's pretty much the story. I probably didn't play more than 6 or 7 sessions that whole 4 days, which is really, really
And not every session was a winning session. We lost some money. I remember buying in for $3,000 and coloring down for $200. Literally, I had just 2 black chips and I just walked away.
Yeah.
We had, but overall we had, I was in the positive, and I stuck to my discipline. And even you laughed at me one time because I said, if we're gonna go play, I gotta go upstairs, put my slot money, and get my craps money. And you're like, money is money, and I'm like, to you, but to me, no. I have my craps play money is in the safe. My slot play money.
I offered you some of my pockets to put some of that shit in, but you wouldn't take me up on it. You were running out of pockets. You were running out of pockets to stick money in.
I thought that, we were going to go to the bank and the banks were open, but the bank wasn't open, and I had taken my jackpot money and put them in my pockets, and then we won almost $9,000 at the IP, and I was like, okay, I don't, I got to go back and put all that money in the safe because the bank's not open.
Yep. All right. That was a good.
So that was a good trip report. But again, I know people out there are going to take half the story and start saying, oh, these guys, we had some bad sessions. Me personally, I had some PSOs. On my morning session, I won 1, lost 2, going 640 across. It's not always a win-win-win. The wins offset the losses, and depending on you play based on your payroll. Play to your limit, play to your comfort zone. Whatever your bankroll is, then you can be aggressive.
You and I shot a video last night. It's on the Patreon channel, which I'm advertising right there. But we did that on the Patreon channel, where I took a very conservative bankroll, $600. I made very conservative bets. You made your normal, pretty aggressive bets, and we just did a comparison of the two during tosses that you were doing. You did the tosses. I just did the betting, did the comparison. I was having to play dealer, which isn't easy for me because I'm a terrible dealer. I make mistakes all the time, but here at home. But we had a good time, so we do stuff like that.
I didn't.
If anybody's got questions before we've been on for an hour and 42 minutes, so we're going to cut off before 2 hours. We've been on long enough, but if you got questions, let us know. But if you like what we're doing on this channel, you can support me through the Patreon channel, and I'm also going to plug the podcast that I'm involved with. It's called Casino Tears. He's got the mug. You can't see the writing on it because of the glare, but it's casinotears.com. It's on your Apple Podcast. It's on Spotify. So wherever you're going to get your normal podcast. These podcasts are not long. They're about 30 minutes, and it's not just me. I've got a great partner involved with this. He lives in Las Vegas. And he and I record these, and then he does all I got to do is talk, and y'all know I can talk. So his biggest problem is trying to figure out how to cut me out of all the talking. But I think the podcasts are pretty good, and I know they're damn funny. And he and I are total opposites, but we interact very well. And they're entertaining. So if you got a commute, you got something you need to kill 30 minutes with, listen to the podcast. He's even got a merchandise thing up. So anyway, let's see. I'm going to kind of glance over here at the chats and see if there's anything. If y'all got a question, go ahead and ask it.
Yeah, Dandy.
Mr. Yo left up a big winner. His wife made him get off the tables and go home, which
I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you and say goodbye, Yo 11. Our paths didn't cross, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna see each other before June. You know where I am. I'm not far from you.
I'm glad
Dandy,
you mentioned June.
welcome. I'm glad the underhand toss works for you. Let's see. I don't see any question. Dan and Gargle as well.
Well, you mentioned June. That reminds me because I totally forgot.
April.
If you're interested in Tunica, I'm having a meetup in Tunica at the Horseshoe, which is a Caesar's property. And if you're interested in going, there's no promises on comps or anything like that. But if you've got, my host is trying to treat you as good as she can. If you've got play or don't have play, but if you got play, send me your Caesars info or just email me you want to go, and I'm going to give you my host contact information, and then you can book direct with her. So depending upon your play, depending on, I mean, she might comp you one night, and then she might say the rest depends on your play, whatever, right? I mean, I got no control over that. That's a Caesar's thing. But she's a great lady. Her name is Pal, and I'll be glad to introduce you to her, and you can try to come in if you want to. If you're going to fly in, though, you're going to have to fly into Memphis and going to have to get a ride from Memphis down into Tunica, 30, 40 minutes. I don't know. That's what they tell me. I've never done the flight. I've always just drive there. That's going to be about the third weekend of April or something like that. I can't remember the dates. Then I've got that we're calling that the Big Muddy Meetup. The Big Muddy Meetup because of the Muddy River, the Muddy Mississippi. And then we're going to be doing the Brownwater Bash #2 in June. It's the weekend following Father's Day down in Biloxi. Here's the deal. Just like last year, we're just going to meet up. We're going to have a good time. Once I've got a good crowd and I've got your names and numbers and you're coming, I'll try to arrange for a meetup, maybe in the VIP lounge or something like that, just for everybody to sit around and get to know each other. If you've got comps somewhere that you can use those comps. I'm going to be staying at the Hard Rock. If you got Hard Rock play, check with the host that you have there. Check the websites. Go to Caesars, go to Boyd, go to MGM, wherever you're going to play. Wherever you got your play, use your comps. If you want to come down, we're going to be there. It's the weekend following Father's Day in June. We'll be there Friday through Sunday, maybe Monday. So love to have y'all down there. We had a good time last year. We had about 25, 28 people plus a few spouses show up last year. I saw a queue. When do you start? All right.
So real quick, Ed, I want to personally thank God Complex. God Complex has been on the chat, help answering questions and kind of directing the chat. So God Complex, thank you for answering some very good questions that the folks watching us are asking. OMC Craps is asking, when do you start increasing your betting on a good shooter? Me personally, when I go 180 across, I like to press until I get 140 back. So it's 2 hits, 2 presses on any number. Like if it's the 6, for example, I take it from 30 to 60, 60 to 120. The next hit, I get 140. So I get most of my line bet back, and then I can do whatever. That's me. Ed has probably a different way of betting and pressing.
I do. I mean, the 6 is 6 and 8. If I'm betting on someone else at the table, I'm just going to go up 1 unit and try to get that 15. Like on an $18 table, I'm going to go up 1 unit. I'm going to put most of the cost of that number back in my rack. That's just what I do. If I'm really, really confident in that shooter and they hit that 6, like the first throw after the point, I'm going to drop them $3 and go straight to 42. So I've got a good opportunity on 2 hits of bringing $49 back to the rack. After that, I'm probably really close to being, golden as far as I'm concerned, and I can press to the moon from there. Main thing is to know how you want to press. Don't slow the game down. Memorize how you want to play. If you have a brain fart, there's nothing wrong with saying same bet. There's nothing wrong with saying up 1 unit. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying take me down. I mean, those are your 3 best choices. Up 1, same bet, take me down.
Brian P. just jumped in. Brian, you missed a good one. You got to go back and.
Oh yeah,
watch
we've been talking about your wife and daughter all night, dude.
all night long. One Rocky Folk. Do you guys ever do cruises? Something that like Howard started doing. So me, myself, personally, I've never been on one and I will never be on one. I know too many things about them. You probably have to drug me like Mr. T and get me on one, and I still won't get on one. I just won't get on those floating disasters. I'm sorry. Ed?
Well, I've not been on a cruise either. I have booked 2, and my wife has freaked out at the last minute on both of them, and I canceled. Lo and behold, we're sitting there in a casino on New Year's Eve, and she's going, "We need to go on a cruise this year." I'm like, "Well, you book it, you pay for it up front, and then if you cancel it, you'll get your money back." But I tell these cruise people, I don't pay anybody to go gamble. If they want me to come, they gotta float my boat, literally. They got they gotta give me a ride. So someday, but I don't have anything in the plans, and it'll have to be with one of the. It'll have to be either with Gene Krupnik or Michael Feldman, one of those guys, probably, if I ever do one.
Big E asks, "What do you do for betting when it's a cold table?" I don't know. I'm usually not on it anymore. If it's a cold table, I'm not on it. I don't sit there and stay until it gets hot. Ed?
Well, yeah, I can tell you exactly what I do. I'm going to do it one of 2 ways. I'm going to start out with a don't pass bet. If the point becomes a 4, 5, 9, or 10, I'm probably going to lay some odds on that don't pass and go with another DC. I'd like to get 3 DCs out there, even if I leave them flat. A 6 and 8 DC travels, I'm going to leave them flat. I'm not going to lay any extra odds on it. I'll go odds on 4 and 10, 5 and 9. If the point is 6 or 8, and I've got a DP, I'm going to place the 6 and 8 to, say I've got a $15 don't pass. I'm going to place the 6 and 8 for 18. If the point's 6, I'm hoping they'll hit the 8. If they hit the 8, I collect the 21. I put that in the rack, and then I can't lose. Same thing if the point's 8 and they hit a 6, I can't lose if they hit it. Doesn't work every time, but you'll be amazed at how many times you'll maybe collect on the one that's not the point, then they'll knock you off. You've still got money in the rack, and then you've got to decide then what you want to do on the next hit, or do you want to start branching out. A lot of times I've started out with that same play, don't pass, 6 and 8, and ended up with a $400 4 or something. You just don't ever know. But you have to kind of play the game as it flows. That's an experience thing, I guess.
Yeah. Got a couple of quick questions for me. Maintenance Man asks, "You throw off access one time?" Actually, did it 3 times. Twice at the Hard Rock at different plays, and once at the where Ed and I went, and he hated that table.
Yeah, I'll never go back.
Yeah, I will. Another one, Gargoyle on the Magic Toss lower is better on bouncy table, but what about the landing zone? How do you adjust LAZ depending on table hardness? So, the dice Magic Toss, especially from straight out, is better on bouncy tables. If it's a hard table, I don't throw off access, because the harder the table, the better the par shot or some of the other on access tosses. You adjust the landing zone basically after the first couple of tosses, because at the Hard Rock, we learned there was one spot either both die went off the table or both die never hit the back wall. So I had to find the between line. Once you toss a few times, then you'll know where your landing zone needs to be and what you need to adjust.
I had forgotten. You did have one hand where you threw a lot of them bounced off the table. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I found the spring, and I was joking with the dealers. There's a spring there, and I keep hitting it.
Yeah, freaking diving board down there.
Victor Del Mastro says DI is an imaginary number like variance, edge is real. Okay. Would love to see a couple of those throws. So Big E, we are going to do a video where I'm going to be shooting from straight out on my table. I'm not sure when. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks. But Ed, Jeff, and I were talking about that just the other day. That we haven't done a video of straight out tosses. So
if you'd sit down, we could see you.
Huh?
If you would sit down, we could see you, but I know you
I'm
can't.
trying to read the.
I got you. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I'm old. I can't. I gotta read from small print off the laptop. Give me a hard time. Thank you. I got my wife for that. Show us a throw to save our ass when tables are choppy.
Here's the best thing. Here's the best advice I can give you.
Don't be on a choppy table.
The best bet is no bet.
No bet. Don't be on a chop. If the table is choppy, you shouldn't be on it.
Best bet is no bet.
If you're like Ed, you know how to play a cold table. You play the don't. I don't play the don't, so I'm not on a cold table. If you're on a hot table, you know how to play it. If the table is choppy, up down, you just need to go and play the slot.
It's such an unfair question. I'll just say this because a lot of these people out here in the questions, they've got locals that they might only be 30 to 45 minutes away from or even less. I got to drive 3.5 or 4.5 hours to get to a casino. That's not a day trip, folks. That's not a day trip for old Ed. That's a weekend trip. So I had to learn how to play right side. I had to learn how to play the dark side so that I could hang around, and I had to learn how to walk away from the table or no bet, right? If you're not, don't stay there and lose your money. If you're not winning either side, walk away. I've got a rule. Don't walk away with less than 50% of your buy-in. If you can't walk away with chips, you don't need to be on the table because you're not liking the discipline. A lot of us just want to stay and see if we can hang on and hang on and hang on. I don't do that. I will walk away from a table with a $200 or $300 loss often, because I can win that back. But if I'm down $600 or if I'm down $1,000, it's hard to win that back. But I can win that $200 or $300 back, and then I can go back to my game. So you've got to learn. You got to build in that discipline. And I'm the last one that really needs to be preaching discipline. I admit it, but I do. I admit it. I play a lot because I go and I play, but I play both sides.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at a comment Jen just put down, and the answer is not yes, but hell yes. I will.
Yeah, he's gonna leave. He will leave the table.
As a matter of fact, I think it was on a private table. I'm not sure, but somebody was trying to be funny on the other side of the table, and
that was Rock. Wasn't me. I am innocent of that.
I
did not lay the 4 and 10 on the come out.
That
was not me.
On the come out.
The guy asked me, "Do you think I should?" And I said it would be a great play, but I wouldn't do it with Gargoyle on the table, and he did anyway.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like walking 14 feet to tell him to get his effing chips off the table, so I yelled it from Strick out. Whoever did that, get your effing chips off the table right now. Guess what? Those chips went off the table.
Well, he only did it for the come out roll. It was only a come out play because
I don't care because it was too early. And guess what? I was ready to just take my chips and go.
There had been 3 or 4 come out sevens thrown, so it wasn't a bad play, and that's why he played it. I know why he played it. There was a question. Okay, Gargoyle. If Ed is playing don't pass, are you leaving the table? We got that one. All right, that was from Justice Jen, who I mentioned. Justice Jen, I did mention you in my last podcast, by the way. All
Yeah.
right, so
And Mr. Yo said it. He did. I did it to him. I left him all at the table, and I said bye.
yeah, he will collect his chips. So what do we do? I don't know if he's asking me or you. Okay, so a shooter throws a 40 roller. What do you do then? Go to the cage if you're on that table. I mean, unless you're sitting there with a tuma, TUMA. That's called your thumb up my ass, and I didn't bet the shooter, right? So if you're in a tuma, well, you probably ought to sneak off the table anyway, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, after a 40 roller, I'm coloring up.
Yeah, I mean, you got to color up. I mean, because if you're in profit like that after a 40 roller, you got to go. It's just like when I did that 3.5 or whatever it was stick change throw on Sunday night. I was done. I knew immediately when I knew halfway through that roll. As soon as I color up or as soon as I 7 out, I'm coloring up. I'm gone. I'm done. It just kept going and kept going and kept going, and that's okay. But I knew when it was over, I was done. I was not hanging around to see what the next guy tossed. Because I'm not going to stand there and lose what I just won.
It's very difficult to follow a hot roll. I mean, it's because
now that being said,
the math has to even out. There's balance in the universe. The sevens will show.
See, you buy into that. You buy into that more than I do. But I would much rather follow a long roll than a PSO. Because I got money in the bank. I can figure out how to play it from there. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I mean, people say, "Oh, I don't want to follow that roll." Hell, I do.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm competitive, and I'm not saying I'm right. By far, I'm probably not. I'm competitive. I want to see if I can do it too. Number two, he or she just had a hell of a roll. I got bullets. Let me see if I can make some more money. I'm not going to go crazy because I got a limit. I know what I'm fixing to walk away with, especially if my shot's next. And if I have a short roll, I'm gone. If I have a long roll, I'm gone at that point.
Yeah, we did, Complex. We appreciate you.
I'm not sure I did. I'm not sure. What did he say?
He's saying that, we help people and, and stuff like that. It's all some good stuff. Chat's comments are moving really fast. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'll scroll back up. Thank you for your kind comments, God Complex. I appreciate it. We do try to help people. There's a lot of people who don't like us, and I understand that, but that's okay.
Yeah. Some people have, I don't know. Let's just say that they don't like us.
Justice Jen agrees with me. She would rather follow a long shooter than a short roller. Hey,
that's awesome.
She agrees with me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You have one person in the craps community that agrees with you. Wow.
If anybody is going to agree with me, I'm glad. I am glad.
Jen,
I am honored. I am not only glad, I'm honored that it's Justice Jen.
I mean, we don't agree on a lot of stuff, you and I, right, Ed? I mean, we don't agree on everything.
Not everything, no.
But that's okay. We still play. It's no big deal. I just think that
we're good friends. We're good friends.
I buy into the math universe thing, and I've seen it so many times that it's difficult for me not to.
When I'm sitting there like a cheerleader going 2, 3, 11, 12 with that blonde lady with the big guns, I mean, I'm all into the universe of positive dice at that point.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I'm not into the positive universe, because I'm over there making a fool going 2, 3, 11, 12, 2, 3, 11, 12. Just like that lady was. I wasn't going to stop. There was no way I was going to stop because it was working.
Yeah, because Justice Jen said she downloaded all the Casino Tears episodes. She's going to binge listen to them. Well,
I hope she enjoys them.
You're gonna hear Ed and the other guy for a long, long time while you're driving.
They're only about 30 minutes each. And 10-ton number 1, he's in Las Vegas right now. He is editing episode number 2 of the follow up from this week's Biloxi trip report that will be on the podcast.
Yep. We hit our limit. I don't see questions coming in. So
we are just over 2 hours. Yes.
So
folks, I appreciate y'all. We got 50 something watching at least. So
yep.
Thank y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all on a Friday night. We really do.
I just want to give kudos to OBC, Old Bay Craps. I've seen his videos. He's coming a long way with his underhand toss. Can't wait to get together with him.
Hard.
Yes,
he's thrown over 1,000 tosses already.
Yep, and it's getting better. I mean, every time he gets on the table, and I talked to him the other day, and encouraged him to start trying new things, get out of the box a little bit, see what is comfortable to you, what's not comfortable. You know, make the shot work for you, and be comfortable with it. So he's starting to do that. Can't wait to see him live. Not next week, but the week after next. Folks, if you're watching this live, or if you come back and watch it later, I have to give Joe some love. Go see him. He's early in the morning, but he's doing his stuff. You know, from my man, it's too late tonight.
Joe at Craps Master's Journey.
Master Craps, yeah, Master Craps Journey. And our new friend, Mr. Yo 11, he's putting out some nice videos out there. The best one is his kids rummaging his craps tables.
Yeah,
if that happened here, I would have a heart attack. I mean, not just for my table, but also for my Legos and stuff like that. they'll probably take me to the hospital. Forget about Gargoyle. Gargoyle's done. That was one of the funniest videos I've seen. But he's got some good stuff. Go over there, give him some love. Subscribe. It costs you nothing. He's doing some good stuff. He's learning. He's a really cool guy. And I enjoy his friendship.
And I think he learned a few tricks that weekend in Biloxi when he was down there with us.
Yes.
I think.
Yes. And that's it. You know, I don't know when we're going to be out next time. I know I'm going to be away for a week work.
Yeah, you've got traveling to do. I'm not sure what Jeff's got a busy week too, I think. So I'm not sure. Hell, I might be on tomorrow night for all I know. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you like what we're doing, you want to support the channel and have some opportunity for some of the private content, obviously I've got the Patreon channel right there. You can join that. It's $10 a month, $120 a year. If you don't want to, don't join it. thecasinotears.com. You can find that podcast that I'm doing with my good friend 10 Ton is number one, who's in Las Vegas. He and I co-host that together. He does a great job of editing it down to about 30 minutes a show. That's our goal, 30 to 40 minutes. A decent commute run time or walking, whatever you're doing. If you just want to listen while you're walking your dog, I don't care. We have fun doing it, and it's been well received so far. We just dropped episode number 5. So number 6 will drop next Tuesday. We're trying to drop them every Tuesday. Casinotears.com is the website, but you can find it on your podcast apps on Apple, Spotify, Android, Google, whatever you use. It's out there. We appreciate y'all listening to that, and give us some feedback. And don't forget, this is the fun part. You can email us at no7@gmail.com. I'm sorry, no7@casinotears.com. Give us some ideas. Give us comments, whatever. We'll talk about it on the show. Or, even better, you can call 229-NO7. 229-NO7, and you can vent about anything you want to vent about. You can vent about the show. You can vent about me. You can vent about the stick man that was giving you a hard time. Whatever it is you want to talk about, give us a trip report. we want to hear about it, talk about it on the podcast. So 22907 is always wide open for you folks. I appreciate each and every one of you.
And
Gargoyle,
real quick,
thank you.
Real quick, Ed, folks in the chat, be nice. You know, if you don't like us, you don't have to watch us. You don't have to come over here and just start spewing crap in the chat. I don't know who you guys are. I don't know who Cobra Snake is. I know Victor. Victor is a nice guy. He means well. Sometimes he's just I don't know, himself. But you know, if you don't have anything nice to say, you know, nobody's forcing you to come in here and watch the show.
Somebody wants a petition for them to be longer. There will be a few that are going to be longer, but we've got a goal. The goal is 30 to 40 minutes on that podcast. So why? Well, I think it gets everybody has an attention span, but at the same time, you know, there's some podcasts out there that run for an hour, hour and a half, and they're kind of long, and you kind of get tired of them, or you listen to them at different times. Our goal right now, they may get longer. They probably will when we start getting engagement. We've got some interviews lined up. We've got interviews with some famous personalities. We've got some box people that have agreed to come in and talk with us. We've got some Las Vegas hosts that are going to talk to us. We've got a couple of at least one YouTube personality that is kind of low key. That's going to come in and talk with us. It's all in fun. We're having a good time, but we're trying to make it informative and entertaining. So I'll close with this, Gargoyle. Practice like you play like you practice, everybody. Go roll to win.